Hi, I'm Mike Cherniffsky, and you're listening to This Podcast is Uncalled For. All right, welcome to the podcast. I got Jered with me tonight, and let's talk about something that happened in current events in the sports world, and that is, of course, the merger of the XFL and the USFL, which, as a BattleHawks fan, I am very excited about. Jered,
Yes.
where are your thoughts before I get into it?
Um, I'm excited because of course we know it brought us the old one brought us one of the greatest players ever. And it's just gonna be amazing to see all the new players that it can bring and the quality and it's gonna be a good challenge for everybody
Mhm.
involved.
Now he's saying one of the best players involved in football. Who may I ask are you referring to?
Kurt Warner.
Okay, well, Warner wasn't actually involved with the USFL or the XFL for that matter.
What was he was involved in
The Arena League is what he
the
was involved in.
Arena League. Yes. I know. I'm surprised that they're gonna try to bring that back.
Yeah, they're bringing that back, but no Iowa Barnstormers there in the IFL, the Indoor Football League. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Iowa Barnstormers are still with us. Uh, but yeah, let's talk XFL, USFL. So yeah, that was they started merger talks in late September around my
Mm-hmm.
birthday, and just the last couple of days. So for reference, folks, we're recording this on December 1st,
Mm-hmm.
2023,
Yep.
and they announced yesterday that the merger is in fact going to take place. The only thing concrete that we know is the start of the season, which will be about the time we release this episode, and that'd be March 30th,
Mm-hmm.
2024.
Okay.
And they're saying, uh, um, not with 100% certainty, but they're saying the merge league is going to be called the United Football League, the UFL.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the first season, will be four teams from each of
Yep.
the leagues. Yeah.
So total of eight, right?
Total of eight. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other eight that didn't quite make the cuts, they're kind of in a suspended animation state. So for our NFL fans, think what's happened with the Cleveland Browns during right after Art Modell's little stunt from 96 to
Yeah.
99.
Yeah.
Or another good example would be the situation in basketball with the Seattle Supersonics, who are currently in a state of suspended animation.
Yeah.
And hockey, well, you could uh, Winnipeg Jets. The original went to Phoenix, became the Phoenix Coyotes, and then the Atlanta Thrashers moved to Winnipeg and became the Jets of today.
Yeah.
So those are those are examples of what I'm talking about. They're in stasis. So
Mm.
yeah. So
So where do you think they're going to be getting their players from?
oh, that's a good question. It's base. I think it's going to basically be a developmental league for players that aren't quite good enough for the NFL. That could use a little more reps and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So good enough for the NFL, but not quite there yet. And I say that because there are a lot of players currently in the NFL that played in one of the two leagues, and did a pretty good job and managed to get on either practice squads or the regular roster. So, so yeah, I think that is probably the primary benefits of this combined league is that it'll just be kind of like a minor league system for the
The football.
yeah.
What's going to be weird to me is like in the NFL, you've got pretty much like first string, second string, third string, and sometimes fourth string players.
Mm-hmm.
And those fourth string players can go like 3 years without playing.
Yeah,
And yet,
that all.
and yet there'll be people that are like less athletic than them playing games if in the XFL and all that stuff.
Right.
So that could be hard to handle. I mean, I guess they're still getting paid to not play, but
Yeah. Yeah, they still get. Yeah, I think they still get paid. Yes.
I
They're
wonder what the pay. What do you think the pay difference will be between
not a
XFL and
clue.
NFL?
Not a clue. Not a clue.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, talking about where these teams are going to be located because that's important too. Well, the four XFL teams that are almost certainly going to be part of this league. The defending champion Arlington Renegades.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that of course is Arlington, Texas.
Yep. Yep.
Right in the Dallas Fort Worth area, current home of the Cowboys and the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, I think the Renegades actually play in the prison of Arlington, as I like to call it, the Rangers' old ballpark. Because
Mm-hmm.
it does. I'm sorry, it does look like a prison from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Arlington. You have the DC Defenders. So
Yep.
Washington DC. What's really cool about DC is part of their fan culture. They do a beer snake at every game. You know what that is, right?
Uh-uh.
That's where you take all your beer cups and stack them one on inside of the other, and it forms a snake. And it's a pretty cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, pretty cool tradition. Um, then we have the San Antonio Brahmas would be the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, the team I follow in the XFL, the St. Louis BattleHawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have this league without the BattleHawks. I mean, come on, attendance wise, seven of the eight highest attended games in XFL history were BattleHawk home games.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a consequence of screwing St. Louis out of the NFL. All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
So do you think St. Louis will ever try to join XFL?
You mean the NFL, right? Because they're all because I mean the Battlehawks are already an XFL team. No,
So that's St. Louis's team?
no, it is St. Louis's team. Yeah,
That's
but
cool.
that's the league that they're going to be in this merged XFL-USFL league, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so that'll be cool to see them. Hopefully, we make the playoffs in this new league, as we kind of got screwed last year.
How long is the season?
Um, if, I'm going to guess about 10 games, so about a couple months,
Mm-hmm.
and starting at pretty much right at the end of March. So from last weekend of March, and then April, May, and probably sometime in June, I would expect the championship game. All right. Um, so, and then the USFL side, they have the two-time defending champion Birmingham Stallions.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They have the Michigan Panthers out of Detroit, the Memphis Showboats. That's an interesting name.
Very interesting.
And then Houston would be one of the Houston. Houston's interesting because they had teams in both the XFL and the USFL. They had the Roughnecks in the XFL and the Gamblers in the USFL, and everything I've read seems to point towards the Gamblers being the Houston team.
Interesting.
Yeah, but what's going to be interesting is they're talking about training hubs. So the XFL last year they had all the teams train in the Dallas Fort Worth area,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would fly out to the different cities for their games, and then come back to Dallas, train every week. With the USFL, they did a hub system as well, but in their case, they had multiple teams playing in the same stadium for home games. So their first year, everyone played in Birmingham.
Wow.
And last year, they had two teams in Birmingham, two teams in Memphis, two teams in Detroit, and then another two in Canton.
Mm-hmm.
That's Canton, Ohio, folks, right on the at the Hall of Fame Stadium. So
So what do they estimate ticket prices will be?
I have no clue. But uh, I could real quick look up the see what they are. Yeah, because some of these teams have already been selling tickets. So I'll look up the BattleHawks. San Luis BattleHawk tickets. All right. So, all right. So, XFL.com. This could be subject to change, of course. Let's say agree. I'm not seeing anything about single game tickets. Oh, here we go. Get your season ticket membership today as low as $25 per game for 5 games.
That's not bad at all.
Trust me, compared to the NFL, that is a steal.
That is a big steal.
For if you've never tried to get to an NFL game, folks, you're talking about minimum $70 nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I could just be lowballing it because it's been a while since I've been to an NFL game.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really wow. And it's good for like the little kids because I mean they're not going to know the difference between XFL and NFL. You know, they're just going to see how
Yeah.
fun the sport is and
Yeah.
exciting and the experience. Yeah, it's going to be good all around then.
Yeah. It's good for the fans in those cities that they'll have one team they can pull for. Everything,
Yep.
not have to worry about teams sharing the same stadium. That only one team would represent the city, and the other, not so much. Just
Mm-hmm.
because they're too cheap to get a stadium in their own city.
Yeah.
And I understand. Yeah, there's some fans that are really pissed off about this. Mostly the teams that didn't carry over. Um,
Yeah.
of which the biggest complainers are the Seattle Sea Dragons. So um, Seattle is pretty far removed from the rest of the league.
Mm-hmm.
So geographically, it just makes sense for them to not be in this first year back.
Exactly. Just the first year, if
Yeah,
they
it's just the
wait.
first year. They're thinking about they're going to expand by 2 for 25. So
Good.
it is a possibility that they could be one of the two teams back
Mm-hmm.
in 25. And
But
that
it,
said, please come up with a better logo that does not resemble Trogdor the Burninator. Otherwise, I'm going to keep making Trogdor jokes about your team forever.
Yep. Yep. And they deserve it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. S, more different S. Use lots of consummate V's.
Yeah.
Make it a wingling dragon, put a beefy arm on it for good measure. And I said, consummate V's. Consummate.
Well, I think I am gonna probably have to log out at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
time.
yeah. I will go. I'll go and add an addendum to the recording that y'all are listening to at home. When I find
Cool.
out more information, if things are more concrete, and I'll just tack it to our discussion here. So
Yes. Yeah. And it'd be cool next time to talk about like what kind of networks are gonna play their
most
games and
likely
everything.
Fox, because Fox owns the USFL.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Uh,
be fun pretty soon happening.
yeah. Coming soon. Coming soon.
All right, Mike.
Okay, so we're back. Good job of the folks leaking all that information because it turned out to be spot on with just a couple of caveats and corrections. So, number one, yeah, we got the teams right. So, they're going to do an XFL conference and a USFL conference. So, the XFL conference, Arlington, DC, San Antonio, BattleHawks. Right? And then the USFL conference would be Birmingham, Memphis, Michigan, and Houston. Now, here's one where things could get interesting. It's going to be the Gamblers roster from 2023, but there is a very real possibility they could take on the Roughnecks name. So it'd be a merger of the two Houston teams. In that case, where it'd be the USFL roster under the XFL name. So stay tuned for that. We should already know when this episode does come out, and it'll be coming out at the starts of the XFL, USFL, or UFL season. So that's not 100% official yet, but it does look to be going that way. The United Football League. Now, under that name, United Football League, they could go a number of different ways with that in terms of teams. What I would love to see, I'm not expecting to see it, is there was a UFL from 2009 to 2012 that really didn't gain much traction, but you could recycle some of those names. Now, like, for example, one name I would not mind bringing back would be the Omaha Nighthawks, or California Redwoods. That was an interesting one too. So you could bring those back. But we'll see what they plan on doing with expansion. And one other thing about expansion, and I'm addressing the Seattle fans here. Guys, your team got cut because Seattle's so far removed from the rest of the league that it makes no logistical sense to bring you back at this time. And if you were to be brought back, you'd need to be paired with someone. One of the other teams to go away, unfortunately, was the New Orleans Breakers. Now look into the history of the old USFL from the 80s. The Breakers played in 3 different cities, one of which happened to be Portland, Oregon. So to the United Football League, or whatever going wind up calling yourselves, that's what you should do for 25, or actually I would say 26. Have the Breakers in Portland teamed up with Trogdor in Seattle. Also, I do need to correct Jered. He talked about Kurt Warner playing in the XFL. Well, the XFL was not a thing until 2001. All right. By that time, Warner had already won his Super Bowl. All right. And what was noticeable about the XFL in 2001 versus this version was that the original version, which had teams in Birmingham and Memphis, by the way, was more like a WWE sideshow than it was actual football. I mean, it was marketed that way. Anyways, and you had players put nicknames on the back of their jerseys, most notably Rod Smart, He Hate Me, and the gimmickry just distracted too much from the actual football that it didn't last too long, and that's unfortunate. But kudos to Vince McMahon for bringing it back in 2020 in pretty much the form it exists today. That's getting ready to merge. What Jered was thinking about was with the Iowa Barnstormers playing in the Arena League, which is about to start its third iteration here soon, with inexplicably teams in small towns in Kansas. And the Iowa Barnstormers will not be one of those teams. So the Barnstormers currently play in the Indoor Football League, which oddly has a connection to this new merged league. They were a developmental league for the XFL. Right? And the Barnstormers are part of this, as well as other former Arena League teams, or Arena League 2, like the Arizona Rattlers, the Green Bay Blizzard, the Jacksonville Sharks, just to name a few. And you have teams like the Quad Cities Steamwheelers. That's a cool name. The Duke City Gladiators. Okay, that's a San Diego Strike Force. I question this one. Tucson Sugar Skulls. So yeah, I hope that arrangement continues into this new merged league. Again, I'm looking for the name United Football League to be the official name, so UFL. And they are going to do the hub system, but it's going to be the training hub, the XFL hub system, where they'll be training to the training camps and work out during the week out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then fly to all the different cities for their games. And DC fans, DC Defenders fans, I'm looking forward to our rematch. I'm looking forward to us kicking your butts, but I'm also looking forward to seeing those beer snakes again, because that is a fucking cool tradition that you guys have caught on, and it's great. And yeah, I'm ready for spring football now. So never mind the rest of the NFL season. Give me my spring football. Give me my BattleHawks, and continue to stick it to the NFL. Caca is the law. And of course, hashtag Cronky out. So, in closing, this episode of this podcast is uncalled for, as always, hosted, produced, and edited by myself, Mike Chernevsky. And today I was grateful enough to be joined by my co-host, Jered Feldman. Our opening music is Iron Bacon by Kim McLeod. And at Comptech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution, 4.0 license. And our outro music is Wepa by Kevin MacLeod at Comptech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution, 4.0 license.
If you are in the United States or Canada, you can call us at 816-832-5160. Leave your message or question for us, and if we like it, we will play it on the podcast. Please support the podcast and purchase our exclusive uncalled for merchandise. T-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and so much more. Go to www.cafepress.com/uncalledforpod. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.